Please welcome once again to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are just joining us for the first time, welcome, thank you. In today's video, we are going to be drafting a basic bodice pattern, and as you can see, I already drew a starter line across. That line is going to serve as our shoulder line, and then from there we'll be placing our shoulder measurements by 2 on that line. Mine is 15 inches, so that's 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. That's what I placed there. From that point, I went ahead to get my neck width measurement, which is 3.5, and then I went down to mark my neck depth measurement, which is 3 inches. So after you're done with this process, you go ahead and then connect it with a curve rule to get your neckline. Alright, so the next thing we are going to be doing is from the shoulder line that we marked, we'll be coming down by 1 inch in order to get our shoulder slope, and from that point there we will be connecting it to the neckline. Alright, okay, yeah, so that's our shoulder slope. From that line, we'll be taking our armhole measurement divided by 2. So mine is 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'll be placing it on that line now. This is just me making sure my shoulder measurement on the starter line is the same as that measurement in order to get an accurate measurement. So I went ahead to use a ruler to draw a straight line across the points that I made. So from that line, I'm going to draw another straight line across this line. So this straight line will be my chest line. So now we want to get our armhole curve. In order to do that, I'm going to be, whatever I have from the shoulder to the armhole, we'll be dividing it into 2, and then we'll be going in from that point where we divided by half an inch, and then my bust measurement, my round bust measurement, I'm going to be dividing it by 4, and then I'll be placing it on that line. Next thing we are going to do is to use our curve rule to mark those 3 points together in order to get our armhole curve. So now we have our armhole curve. The next thing to do is to get our vertical measurements. So I marked my bust measurement from the top of my shoulder, which is 10 inches, and I draw across the line. In order to get your bust measurement, you take your tape and measure from top of your shoulder to your bust point, that's to your nipple. And then I also went ahead to draw my waist measurement, that's from my shoulder to my waist, and I drew across the line too. Next thing for us to do is to take our hip measurement, and in order to get this, we have to take from 8 inches down from our waistline to our hip line. Hip measurements actually differ because we have different body shapes, but for the purpose of this video I'll be using 8 inches because that's the standard measurement. So I took 8 inches from my waistline down to my hip line, and then I ruled a line across it. So now we'll be getting our dart. In order to get our dart, we'll be taking our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, and we'll be placing it on the bust line, the waistline, and also the hip line. After placing this point, I'm going to use a ruler to draw a line across. The next thing to do is next thing we are going to be doing is to take ½ inch from both sides of our waistline, and then from the bust line we're going to come down by 1 inch. From the hip line we'll be going up by 2 inches. After doing this, we are going to join the 4 points together. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to take our get measurements. Get measurements are measurements that are taken around our body. Already I took the bust measurement, so now I'll be taking the waist. So sorry guys, I had no idea I wasn't filming. So like I was saying, we're going to be taking our round waist measurement, that's our waist measurement, divided by 4 plus 1 inch for the dart which we took out, and then I also took my round hip measurement divided by 4, and then I joined those 3 lines together. So from the hip line, this is optional, but for a better fit I always prefer to come up by 2 inches, and then I went ahead to use my curve rule to mark out that line. So this is basically all for the front pattern. Now for the back pattern, as you can see, I already went ahead to draw out the zipper allowance, which is optional. I just put it for the purpose of this video, and I went ahead to measure the shoulder, the chest line, the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line, because it's more or less the same. I also went ahead to measure the neck width, but as you can see, I did not measure the neck depth because the neck depth for the back of a basic bodice pattern is always higher than the one for the front. So next thing to do is to measure 1.5 inches from that point for the neck depth, and then we're going to mark it out. Okay, so I also went ahead to measure I was just making sure the measurements were accurate. So now I went ahead to measure my bust line. That's my bust measurement, sorry. And then next thing to do is to take our darts. So that's our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. And the difference between the darts for the front bodice and the back bodice is that the dart for the back bodice starts from the chest line, that's above the bust line, while the dart for the front bodice starts from the bust line, that's 1 inch below the bust line. So that's what I was trying to explain earlier. So from there, I'm going to take 1/2 inch on both sides for the waistline, and then I'm going to connect both points together. And don't forget to come up by 2 inches on the hip line, because your dart is not meant to get to the hip line. If not, it will hinder your measurement. So I already went ahead to join those points together. The next thing I went ahead to do was to take the round waist measurement and the round hip measurement like I did for the front piece. And then I joined these 3 points together, and I also came up by 2 inches on the hip line, and I used my curve rule to join that line just to the dark line that we had. So the next thing I went ahead to do was the armhole line, which I feel like I should have done earlier, but I just wanted to explain what happened for the first piece. That's why I went ahead to do that one first. So now I just drew across the line, and unlike the front bodice pattern, which had a curve in the middle for like 1/2 inch going in, we are not going to do that for the back piece. We're just going to join it together. So I'm just trying to make the curve accurate enough to meet the shoulder. Please guys, this is basically the end of this basic bodice pattern. All you have to do is cut it out. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, drop a comment, say something. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.